Hello and welcome to Longship Gaming. Today we are playing Marvel Champions. It's going to be Cyclops versus RHINO. Kind of an odd matchup, RHINO being the first villain in the game and Cyclops being one of the more recent, but that's the point of doing this video. To see whether the very old villains, like almost 4 years old now, how they stack up against the refinement of heroes that have come out within the last, let's say, 6 months or so, especially since the Mutant Genesis cycle. So there's a bit of a lull, of course, in releases. By the time when I'm recording this, Gambit and Rogue are still a couple of weeks out from release. By the time this video goes up, they may very well already be out. So we'll see. Yeah, I just want to see how newer heroes match up against older villains. So I want to do RHINO, then Claw, then Ultron. So, but first we're starting with Cyclops. So to go over the deck here, I'll list the deck in the description below. It's from the Marvel Champions database, of course. In this case, of course, it's going to leverage Cyclops' innate sort of teamwork or leadership base, using nominally protection, but there are a few protection cards, but it doesn't feel like a protection deck necessarily. So the theme of this deck is basically to be able to get out really beefy, resilient X-Men and have them absorb the attacks that that Run is going to throw at them, and let Cyclops do a lot of the thwarting that he needs to do. Because as we know with RHINO, the scheme can get out of control real quick, being a single stage with a 7 threshold. So to go over what we have in the deck, I've sort of separated them out differently than I usually do. So I'm going to go over all the allies first, with the exception, of course, Jean Grey, who's in his deck. So we've got Rock Slide. So they're all X-Men. Everything is X-Men themed. In fact, most of the cards in here are going to be X-Men themed. To leverage off a lot of the new releases, and especially cards I haven't used yet. So, Rock Slide, very good for Retaliate, really beefy, thwart a 1, attack of 3. Polaris, so she can give a tough card to another X-Man. Nightcrawler, great for just evading damage entirely, as long as you have that energy resource. Beast, very good card, essentially costing only 2 because you get the resource card back. A threat of 2, an attack of 2, a health of 3, very solid. Wolverine, get a lot of attacks in and has longevity because he heals at the start of every turn. Professor X, for that 1 or 2 turns during the game where you really need to confuse RHINO, because there will be times you want to take time off. It's very risky with RHINO. And of course Colossus, cheap-ish. So cost of 3 when you have your identity as a mutant or X-Men, which of course Scott Summers is, and comes in with toughness. For our, should put these the other way around, for our protection cards, we have 3 copies of Mutant Protectors. So it's a 1 cost event. Play only if your identity has the X-Men trait, which of course we do. So it's a hero interrupt defense. When an enemy attacks, put an X-Men ally into play from your hand, exhaust it, and declare it the defender for this attack, which is fantastic to get somebody, again, big and beefy out, like Rock Slide, or preferably Colossus. Just want to check one thing. Polaris, after Polaris enters play, so it doesn't have to come from hand, so she's pretty good for that too. Hangar Bay, so it's a support. After an ally defends against an attack and is not defeated, exhaust this card, ready an ally. So then you can have somebody to crack back against the villain or a minion, once you have the Hangar Bay out. And 3 copies of Protective Training attached to an X-Men ally, maximum 1 training upgrade per ally. So that really is Scott's thing, his tactics and his training. Attached to an X-Men ally, attached ally gets +3 hit points. So that is extremely good for the longevity of your heroes. For our basic cards, we have 3 copies of Game Time. So hero action, choose an ally with a training upgrade attached. Ready that ally and heal 1 damage from it. So it's going to work very well with Protective Training. Weapon X. Alter Ego action, exhaust Weapon X, take 1 damage, discard cards from your deck until you discard an identity-specific card, then add that card to your hand. So again, these are going to be all of the X-Men supports. Utopia. Support, response after an X-Men ally enters play, exhaust Utopia, ready an X-Men character. X-Jet, so of course generate a wildcard resource. Danger Room. Location X-Men, Alter Ego response after an X-Men ally enters play, exhaust it, search your deck and discard pile for a training upgrade and attach it to that ally. Of course, that has to be done in Alter Ego. And that combines well with Cerebro. Exhaust Cerebro, search the top 5 cards of your deck for an ally, and put that into your hand. Or your whole deck if you have a psionic character. Of course, there is one psionic character. Oh, 2 psionic characters, so that could work out. But again, it's Alter Ego, so you have to be careful using these because RHINO could scheme out unexpectedly. And of course, our X-Men themed Genius, Strength, and Energy. The scenario, RHINO playing on Expert, so he's on stage 2, scheme of 1, attack of 3. When revealed, we put out Break-In and Take-In as a side scheme. He's got 15 health. Break-In is his scheme, starts on nothing, goes up 1 each turn, has a threshold of 7. And Break-In and Take-In, when revealed, so it's got an additional threat, so it starts on 3, and of course has a hazard icon. So we want to get rid of that one as quickly as possible. For Scott Summers Cyclops himself, starts on 10 hit points. On his Alter Ego, he's got 3 recovery. You may include X-Men allies from any aspect in your deck, which is what we've done. Constant training, action, search your deck for tactic upgrade and add it to your hand, limit once per round. Cyclops, not the best stat line, 2 thwart, 1 attack, 2 defense, optic blast, action attack, spend 1 resource of any type, deal 3 damage to an enemy with an upgrade attached. So kind of limited. You're trying to leverage him being able to do damage, but of course the attachments on the villain are going to be temporary. So you got to get the most out of them on your turn that you can. So I find it a little expensive. It's going to really come down to, in this deck, the allies doing a lot of the heavy lifting. Okay, so we're going to get shuffled up, and we'll be right back with Cyclops versus RHINO. Alright, we're back. We're shuffled up and ready to go. For our starting 6 cards, we have Field Commander, Tactical Brilliance, Danger Room, Cerebro, Full Blast, and Exploit Weakness. Okay, so Field Commander playing solo doesn't really mean a lot. Each Cyclops upgrade attached to a minion loses the temporary keyword. Not really all that important. Tactical Brilliance, important. So these ones are going to go back. Tactical Brilliance is great for turn 1 to get rid of Break-In and Take-In. Danger Room and Cerebro, very important. Especially Cerebro to be able to get an ally, since I didn't have any in my starting hand. And Danger Room to get the training upgrade on them. So these 2 are definitely going to stay. Full Blast, I'm not full blasting anything right now for 8. And Exploit Weakness, I'm not looking to do damage, I'm looking to get allies out. So, 1, 2, 3. Ruby Quartz Visor, Energy, and Protective Training. So it's a really good thing that I kept these 2. Quartz Visor is really good. So now we can Constant Training, search your deck for a tactic upgrade, and add it to your hand. Looking for our tactics. There's a good 0 cost one. Let's do that. We're just really using it for the resource. Seeing how we can maximize our turn here. Alright, so we're going to use Exploit Weakness to play out the Cerebro. So we're going to look at the top 5 cards of our deck for an X-Men ally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, surely there must be one. There we go. Protective training. So we have Polaris and we have Rock Slide. So Rock Slide's very expensive compared to Polaris, so we're going to keep Polaris in this case. Oh, okay, so should have done this in a slightly different order. It should have been that and then Danger Room right on top of it. So I'm going to, rewind that a second. Yeah, so after an X-Men ally enters play, exhaust Danger Room and put a training upgrade on them. So we are going to play out. I want to keep that visor, but I'd rather have Polaris out. So we're going to give Scott... Oh, okay, so that's played out. Scott is not an X-Man. So I have to give it to her at this stage. So that's one bit of a drawback with this, is so much of this works only on Alter Ego. But anyway, we get to make her much tougher. So we're going to put protective training on her from the Danger Room. Whoops. So Rock Slide would have been far too expensive here for us. All right. Never going to flip over. We want breaking and taken to go, so we're going to thwart for 2, and then Polaris will thwart for 1 to get rid of it. That burns her tough off because of the consequential damage. And that's all we can do. But we at least have a really good combo set up for the admittedly rare Alter Ego turns that we're going to have. So Polaris has 6 hit points, and hopefully she'll be able to weather a hit from RHINO. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Game time, priority target, protective training, Nightcrawler, and Hangar Bay. Okay. So he's going to scheme. He's going to attack for 3. Polaris. I wonder if we keep Polaris and just... We're not really attacking with Cyclops that much. Now, we brought her out expressly for this purpose. So we're going to have her defend. So she's attacking for 3, 4. So she actually survives it. Encounter card. Crowd control. Just a bog standard 2 cost, or 2 threat crisis. Okay. So, let's thwart with Cyclops. Let's game time Polaris to heal 1. Let's have her thwart. And I think we actually want to flip down. We're going to take that risk. We just want more of our friends out. So, we're going to flip down. We're going to go looking for a tactics card. Let's just take any old tactics card. Then we're going to use Cerebro. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We find nobody. We whiff on it. Ugh, okay. It's not great. Oops. But we can play out both the Hangar Bay. Oh, no, we can't. Wait, I game timed her. I flipped over. Oh no, I don't know why I put that in there. So I, I grabbed priority target. Or did I get that backwards? So I had 5 cards in hand. Yeah, so that's what it should be. So that's all I've done on this turn. Okay. So yes. Oh no, that's why I couldn't do it, because I had Nightcrawler. I think I'm going to hang on to Hangar Bay. Going to play out Nightcrawler. He's going to get himself protective training, which I just spent because in the discard pile. We're going to hang on to the Hangar Bay for next turn. We're going to have Nightcrawler attack for 2. That's what I get for playing the game with a headache today. The weather today is so awful. It feels like a migraine. It's pretty nasty. Okay, so standing back up again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hangar Bay, Professor X, Tactical Brilliance, Weapon X, Ricochet Beam, and Practice Defense. Okay. Scheme goes on. He is going to scheme for 1, sorry. So he's going to scheme for 2 total. Encounter card. Surge. I'm tough. So he gets a tough card. You sure are, buddy. You sure are. Interesting that, unlike a lot of current villains, I think really he should have had tough innate on stage 2. It really wouldn't have been that backbreaking, considering how many of the villains recently all have tough innately. Okay, so it's back to us. We get to go looking for a tactic upgrade. Oh, it's an upgrade, not an event. Okay. Do we have any? Yes, we do. And that's from the deck, not the discard. Tactics. Priority target. I think I may have made a mistake earlier by grabbing the event tactic, but I think ultimately it didn't matter because I just ended up spending a tactic in hand for the same thing. So if it was an error, so be it. I think it's a pretty minor one. Okay, and now we get to Cerebro. I mean, technically, we could play out Professor X first. Allowing us to look through the entire deck for who we need. But we would be at our max as it is. All right, so we want them in hand anyway, so we're going to look 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Phoenix. I think Phoenix is probably better. Since Professor X just goes away. Yeah, so I think we're going to do that. We're going to, let's see what we want to, we don't really need Weapon X. Ricochet Beam we don't need. Practice Defense I think might be good, so we're going to spend Priority Target to bring out Phoenix. Phoenix is going to get a training upgrade. There it is. So she's pretty tough now too. After she enters play, choose a Cyclops card in your discard pile and add to your hand. Let's just get back, oh, I don't know, this tactic. Or the visor. I think the visor. Okay. Whoop. All right. So, yeah. We're going to play out let's flip over. The visor's good going forward. Professor X, ugh. Okay, I think we're in good shape that we don't need to flip down that much. So I feel like Practice Defense onto RHINO, spending 2 for the visor, because that gives us piercing and range just to ignore tough, so that's going to be pretty good. So we're going to thwart for 2. We're going to use Polaris to thwart for 1, so she has 1 hit point left. Then we're going to use our visor and spend the 1, generate the resource for the Optic Blast ability. So we don't have to spend Hangar Bay, which is good. Which is that. So yeah, we're going to generate that. Gains piercing and range. He has an upgrade on him, so it's going to blow through the tough. And he goes down to 10. And then we'll have Phoenix and Nightcrawler attack for 4 more. So we're kind of exactly where we want to be in terms of relative power. Of course, Nightcrawler and Phoenix. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hangar Bay, Beast, Mute Protectors, and X-Jet. Okay. So, threat goes on. This is still on here. He's got -2 attack. Do we just want to get more mileage out of Polaris? Do we want to let her go to be able to bring in Beast if we need him? Yeah, let's let her go. So he's doing a 2 attack. 5 attack total. Thanks, Polaris. You've been great. Encounter card. We're confused. A false alarm on the bomb scare. Okay. So, I'm not tough, I'm confused. So we're going to do this to get rid of the confuse. Let's have... kind of want to hold on to Mutant Protectors. We can get a lot of work Hangar Baying this turn. So yeah, we're going to just drop all of these to put out the X-Jet. Oh, this is gone. We're going to use that to play out the Hangar Bay. And we will have Nightcrawler and Jean attack. Bring him down to 2. This Nightcrawler still has some good amount of health on him. One, two, three, four, five. Mutant Protectors, Colossus, Genius, Tactical Brilliance, and Game Time. This is very good for us with Mutant Protectors to have Colossus in hand. Amazing. Okay. So he's going to attack. We are going to choose to bring out Mutant Protectors. So out comes Colossus. He's tough. He's the one who's going to take the hit. Attacking for 3, so just 3, but it gets rid of tough. Nice. Encounter card. Oh, after an ally defends against an attack and is not defeated, ready that ally. So we're going to ready Colossus. Encounter card. It's the Bomb Scare. He planted a bomb somewhere. We're not big fans of that. Okay. Let's have... I think we're going to flip down this turn. So, Cyclops and Colossus. Maybe we won't. We don't really need to. We're going to thwart the Bomb Scare. Nightcrawler. 1 hit point left. Can thwart the break-in. And then Jean can hit him for the last 2. Flipping him now to stage 3. So scheme of 1, attack of 4, hit points of 16. He's now tough, and we stun ourselves. He's tough. So I think we're going to use the X-Jet to... Oh no, it's free, so we don't need to use the X-Jet to do anything. So we're going to Game Time, heal 1 from Phoenix, stand her back up again, and then she's going to hit for 2 to get the tough off. He doesn't scheme much more. That's fine. I think we're in good shape. Ready, everybody? We're going to hang on to our energy, or genius. 1, 2, 3, 4. Almost through our deck. Rock Slide, Ricochet Beam, Strength, and Utopia. Well, that's pretty good. Okay, so Threat goes on. He's going to attack. So we're going to interrupt when an X-Men character would take any amount of damage from an enemy attack. Spend energy resource and return Nightcrawler to your hand, prevent all the damage. So that's what we're going to do. So he is going to defend. He is going to take 5, but we're going to spend our energy resource, which is going to be, I think, our ricochet beam, to bring Nightcrawler back to our hand and prevent all the damage. He goes Bamf. And then, encounter card, hard to keep down. He's going to heal for 4. He's at max health, so it's going to surge. Charge, Dr. RHINO. When RHINO attacks, the attack gains overkill. Well, charges the nasty one. But we know how to mitigate it, and we can mitigate it with Nightcrawler. Okay. Well, let's just start hitting. We want to get rid of the stun here, of course. I mean, we could put out Rock Slide. It can take a lot of damage, but it would take him out for sure and still overkill him. So in this case, we're going to play out Utopia. We're going to play out Nightcrawler. We're going to use Utopia to ready Scott. Just going to hang on to Rock Slide just in case. Let's have Colossus thwart. I mean, that's not really what he's supposed to be doing, but so be it. And then we're going to have both Phoenix and Nightcrawler attack. Bring him down to 2. Oh, we stood back up because of Utopia, so we can actually attack for 1. Okay. Gonna hang on to Rock Slide, draw our last 2, so encounter card. Alright. Rock Slide, Wolverine, Game Time, Exploit Weakness, and Ricochet Beam. Okay. So, it's going to scheme. He's going to attack with this horrible charge, so he's at a base 7. We're going to have Nightcrawler get in the way. Next one character would take any amount of damage from an enemy attack. Spend this, prevent all of that damage. So, actually, you know what? I'm not sure how the interaction works with overkill in this particular case. So, I think what I'm going to do is just have Scott take it because he's an X-Man. And just have Nightcrawler just ignore the damage. So that's what we're going to do. So it's going to be 7, 8. but Nightcrawler just allows us to ignore all of it. Nightcrawler, I think, really is the best X-Men ally in the game. It's just, he's crazy. Good value, and be able to bounce like this is fantastic. Okay. Encounter card. Oh, so charge goes away after that. So now he gets another charge. So I guess we'll just have to do the same thing. And the next one is Explosion. Bomb Scare is not in play, so Surge. He's going to scheme. Scheming for 1, 2. Okay. How much damage can we do in this turn? 5. We can do a lot. We have Exploit Weakness is out. But we definitely want to have Nightcrawler because of the charge. Yeah. I think we're going to have to slow roll it a bit. So we are going to thwart. Then we're going to put out Exploit Weakness. So he's going to take +1 damage from each attack right now. Then we're going to play out Nightcrawler again, which is going to trigger Utopia, so we stand back up again. Jean still has a lot of health left on her. We're all in pretty good shape here, so we're just going to go ham while we have an opportunity. So we're going to blast him with the Optic Blast, which is, I don't know, it is an attack, so he's going to take 4. So he's down to 7. Oh, this actually might do it. Yeah, I think we have more than enough this turn. Then we're going to do 2. Yep. Cyclops is going to do, or Colossus is going to do his 3, which turns into 4. Bring him down to 1. And then we'll have Jean Grey do the last 3 to him. So, wow. Yeah. So this deck works out pretty well. Actually, my test game went a lot slower because I kept getting stalled out trying to get the X-Men out. But I think the having Nightcrawler out to just soak up all his damage, especially from these awful charges that can come out, or when he has the Ivory Horn. Yeah, it's. I think this is a pretty solid deck. It really feels like playing like all the X-Men showing up to take on RHINO. And it really wasn't even that difficult this time around. Yeah, I think maybe there was the one early mistake when it came to the event, but I don't think ultimately it would have mattered in this game. And maybe it would have gone on one more turn. But, wow, yeah. So, Scott leading the X-Men to victory against the rampaging RHINO. So, you know, do newer heroes have an easier time? I wouldn't necessarily say that this first scenario is always easier, because we know that he can scheme out of nowhere. But yeah, so Scott can just hang back, thwart, throw Optic Blasts when he has a chance, and rely on his many X-Men friends to get the job done. In this case, they did. So this is a fun deck. I recommend it. I like the fact that protection just feels different than it did early in the game's lifetime, which is extremely defensive. I find now, especially with Web Warriors and with Repurpose as a card out there, it's just such a different style. Like it really feels like a different way. And I like to see them sort of do that in the rest of the game as well. Sort of new kinds of archetypes with the other aspects, because, you know, aggression is still just aggression. There's got to be something new in there to put into that, to make it a little different feel playing, or a little matching different styles of play. But anyway, that's for another time. So thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notification as to when new videos go up. And until next time, happy gaming. Thank you so much for watching Longship Gaming. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It will really help the channel to grow and improve. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you'll be notified when more Longship Gaming content goes live. Until next time, happy gaming.